Hey everyone, and we're back. It's me, Key of W with Islands of Insight, looking at the last static puzzle in the game, this 5-star logic grid. We're going to solve it, however long it takes. It's one of these. So, the patterns look complicated, but what it really means is that we can't have branching paths, because that's what would happen here. This is a branching path. We also can't have dead ends. We have to have one long loop that connects all the dark cells. And no branching paths, no dead ends. So, let's see if any of these give us... Right now, this is seeing 5. So it's got to see 3 more, something like that. This needs to see 2 more, 3 more, 2 more. So we can't have something like this. Whatever comes through has got to be... So we could have something like this, right? But maybe more like that. No, it would have to be... I see. So we also have to have this here sees 1. This can only see 1 more. So if this were white... then the trouble is something else here would have to be... Oh no, they all have to be... So what if we did it this way, we would have to... I'm just taking a guess here. This looks, even though it's 5 stars, it looks like we can solve it pretty quick because the way these are 3x3 patterns is actually not that large a space to work with. We would have to do this, meaning these would both have to be, and we would be stuck there. So this must be a dark cell here. Now, let's suppose I make this a light cell. We'd have to have dark cells here and there, which is going to stop all of this. Right, did I do that right? Because if this was light, we would have to do this. And it would... Yeah, it would be disastrous, because we would have to do this here. So, this is dark, for sure. Means those are dark. Now, suppose this one's light. Now this is done. This could be a problem as well because we have that issue. So this has to be dark as well. Now suppose this is light. Same issue is going to happen here. Not exactly, because this is now going to be done. Actually, this sort of working? No, it's not. So I think this has to be a light cell. I think we got to do it this way. And now, oh, hold on. This could be. So let's suppose I blocked these. Let's suppose I did that. Now these both have to go up and around, or this has to go up and around. Only one direction here. So if I blocked this, we would be in trouble because we'd have both of these. So we'd have to do this, which would mean all of those would be white. Either here or... Oh, the trouble is if I block this now, I'd have to go all the way down. So I would have to do this. All of those would be blocked. All of that would be blocked. It actually looks like I have it. Wow, that was actually really short. I think I said in the last video, there's no way this is going to be a quick one. I have to start a new video. But I lied to you. That was a quick one. Huh. Slightly disappointing, because this is our last static puzzle in the game. That means every other puzzle that remains is somehow randomly, not generated, pulled from a big pool randomly. It's a big hub puzzle. This one is always here, and it's not that bad. Whereas this puzzle here took me like 45 minutes, and it was glorious. This is probably the best puzzle in the entire game right here. But whatever. I think this puzzle was still fine, but I would have given it like 2 stars. It was way easier than they thought it would be. So now, we're going to go somewhere else. Not Serene Deluge. I've just done a bunch of puzzles here, although I might grab a few on the way out the door. Let's head into Ascension Grids, maybe? I haven't done Ascension Grids in a bit. Might hit a few of those. What's down here? That's a floor we've already done. Just looking at puzzles that I might want to grab. Nah. I could have just warped here, gotten here a little faster, but we're taking the scenic route. So we're going to these Ascension Grids, and I'm only going to do a few of them right now. Not really going to spend too much time here, because then we're going to just kind of go this way, see what we can grab from the areas we've already done a lot of puzzles. Let's do... You know what? Let's do a 5-star puzzle here. This ought to be good. Don't make this... Oh... So I can do branching paths, but not much. Connect all dark cells. Huh. Is there any move I know for certain? I know for certain this 4 either moves up or down 1 space. At least 1 space. Because the perpendicular rule for things that are connected. This can't go that far out. I don't seem to see an obvious... Well, the 7, this is the largest the 7 goes side to side. Can't go to that far. So this is the furthest and go side to side. So it does have to move up. This is the furthest it can go up, which means it has to go down 1. This is required. Now this is the furthest it can go here, so it does have to move to the left once, but it doesn't have to move to the right. Yeah. I can go all the way up. I can go all the way to the side here. Where's the break-in? Where's that first thing I gotta do? Well, if I put a dark cell here, I'd have to go all the way up. I'd have to do this. That's if I decide to make this move. And then the 7 is actually spoken for. Which is I still could do this. Yeah, I can still block there. If I did this... No, that's not a good move. I shouldn't be doing that. This is way, way too much guessing. If I start with this guess instead, then we're here. I'm just picking this guess because it gives me a lot of black squares and it forces the 4 very, very particular way. Forces the 7 like so. But it doesn't force anything else. Because I could still have something like this. Is there any way this is a light cell? No, if this is a light cell, all of these would have to be light cells. So that is a dark cell. This would fill it out, it's fine. So anyway, this is a light cell, yes. This could be a light cell, this could be a light cell. All of these could be. Let's see. There's got to be a dark cell between these. And between these. In between these. Somewhere. It's got to be a dark cell. But there might just be one. It could be like that. Could be like this. It could also be like that. There's got to be at least one dark cell here. Could be there. Could it be all these 3? At least one of these 2. It's not really an obvious thing with the 10. If this was a dark cell, let's say, we'd have to come out like this. What would this say? We'd have to make this a dark cell. Actually, hold on. If this is a light cell, we'd have to make all of these light cells. So this does have to be a dark cell. One of these two has to be a dark cell as well, for sure. We could make it this way. If this is a light cell, that's fine. Now, if this were a light cell right here, we would have to completely block off like so. This is fine. The only thing we can't do is now this move, but the 9 apparently has to go down at least one. If we make this move. So that's the... we do have to move down one, at least. If this is the move we make. It works out really nicely to do this, so it might be the correct move. We can't go both of these the first, so we do have to go one more space down. Now if we go... I think we also have to go like that. I think we have to do this with the 10. Could connect this here, but it does really restrict the black cells. Is there another spot I can find? Well, if this is a dark cell, for instance, then we would force ourselves to be like this. And we'd have to pick 2 more of these. These 2 would be wrong. These 2 would be wrong. These 2 would be wrong. So that's a light cell. Now, if this is a dark cell here, we just run out of space. If this is a dark cell, we need 2 more. They're both here. So this is a light cell. If this is a dark cell, we need 1 more, which is possible. So this could be a light. Now, if this is a dark cell, it's fine. If this is a dark cell, again, it's fine. Okay, so that is correct. This is a dark cell. We're all the way up here, which is it's great. This seems to be just fine. It would force a few moves here. If this is a dark cell, though, what happens? I mean, we kind of end up with a big block here. Not sure if it's correct. That's the furthest that can go. I suppose this is a light cell right here. What does that do? Not a lot. That's a light cell. Well, now... Actually, hold on. What if this is a dark cell? Then... 8, 9, 10. That's possible. That could be a dark cell. So again, if this is a light cell, then this would have to be a light cell as well. Yeah, the 10 seems to be just fine. Actually, we can't have both of these. Can this ever be a dark cell? Yes, that can be a dark cell. Just not both of these. But they can both be light, they can be one or the other, and it's fine. If they're both light... If I were to do this here... That doesn't help me. Just trying to find a move that's like, ah, this gets me toward the next part of the puzzle. But so far, these are all just guesses. Which doesn't make me super happy that I have to guess. I know I can't bring this out, but I don't know what direction I can bring it. I also admit this is a guess. I'm building this on a guess. It makes me very unhappy to be solving a puzzle this way and to have no other recourse. Is there anything else? Like if I do this, for instance, what is the implication here? Doesn't seem to be much of one. I still have a lot of guesswork to be done if I make that move, if I put a dark cell here. But if I put a light cell here, then I do put a dark cell there. But again, it's really not... doesn't really tell me anything. If I put a light cell here, however, I'd force both of these to be light cells. But it wouldn't tell me anything. I still would have a lot of guesswork to be done. That's just what it is. So there can only be one dark cell touching these. And there has to be one, because 3 of these have to be filled in. So let's suppose this is the dark cell. So now the trouble is, how do I fill in the 4? Because both of these would have to be filled in. Yeah. So this has to be light. So that solves that. So 2 of these has to be dark. Actually, if this is dark, we have the same problem here. So I guess it forces this to be light. So 1 of these 2 is dark. That's possible. If this is the dark one, we're kind of where we were before with the guessing. I know this is going to go up or down. I'm not sure which direction. This can still be a dead end because we can branch the path here just fine. Because of this rule is awkward. This rule makes it really difficult to just guess where I'm supposed to go. Anything else I can do here? Well, if this is light, for instance, we'd have to put a dark cell here, and we'd have to... Yeah, okay, so this has to be dark. Now, if this is light, that's fine. Like, we can do this. Well, let's suppose the 2 doesn't move this way. We'd have to move the 5 out at least 1 space. That doesn't really say much, though. If this was the light cell, though, we still could block this. I don't know. I just know this is a dark cell. That's as far as that can go. Is there any... I think there was no, like, putting a dark cell next to any of these didn't really block anything. We're still able to do stuff with that. Still able to do stuff with this. So we don't know. The 9 can go down pretty far before there's a problem. What? I mean, if we did put one here, what's it say? Not much. So branching paths are sort of possible, but not really. They can just stick out 1 space. So if I put something here and I made it a dead end, now it would be the dead end. But it could easily just be a corner piece like this. If I force stuff out here, still doesn't help me. Doesn't force anything on the 5 either. In order to force the 5 to move somewhere, I would need to put a dark cell here to force it out, or put a dark cell here. Yeah. If I put a dark cell here, that's fine. This just forces one space. If this is white, then we can't have this. We'd have to have that, but that's just a guess. No. It's still possible to do this with the 6. Is there a way that's white? Yeah, this is possible. It's totally possible. Maybe this is white? Yep. Totally possible. This is totally possible. There's too many possibilities, too many guesses. Wait, this is white. Yeah, that has to be dark. Yeah, the only reason I'm keeping this guess is it works out so well. I don't know what I would do if I removed this, right? Like, if I said this is a light square. Actually, if I said this is a light square, it would still force this still has to be a dark square. That's got to be a dark square. Which doesn't actually tell me the answer here. So this is really the only thing I know for certain when it comes to this section. If I put a light square here, I know even less. Yeah, the only thing that this particular solution is really elegant because it forces so much, but this is the only thing I really know. Which would actually not force anything here. Yeah, this is the frustrating type of puzzle because the way I'm looking at it, unless there is an actual bona fide logical move that is visible that I'm just not seeing, I have to guess. I have to make a guess and hope it's right. And if it isn't, I have to restart the entire puzzle, make a different guess, and try again. Which I hate. I absolutely hate that. There should be a logical move here somewhere. It's got to be here, but I cannot see it. I know either this or that. Definitely. Possibly both. But either that or that. Making this particular assumption just brings up a dark cell here, but it doesn't tell me anything else because it could be here or there. Making this move at the very least. I can't do this because then we'd have that problem. I can't both be light, but they can both be dark or it can be one or the other. I don't know. These can't all be light, so these can't be both. So one of these two, but it could be this or it could be that. We don't know. Is there any way this one down here is dark? Or like this? I mean, this doesn't solve anything because either direction's fine. I'm looking for a contradiction. If I try this, does it result in a contradiction? But there's so many possibilities that it looks like I have to guess and then just hope the guess is correct, which makes me really disappointed because I'm going to spend an hour on this puzzle and it will be not fun to solve because I'm not I'm not making a logical inference and going, I've realized it. I'm just guessing something and hoping it works. I won't feel like a genius for solving it. I'll just feel relief that I'm finally done with it. So I would say this is a bad puzzle because there's no in. It's a guess move. Unless there's some inference you're supposed to be able to make, but the game has not taught me how to make that inference. Like, we can go to our insights and it tells you, like, here's the inferences you can make on logic grids. None of those apply here. If I do this way, I get nothing from this. If I do it this way, I also don't really get anything from that. I can't do both of them. I can still go all the way up, but I might do something like this, which is not helping me. This is also possible. Still doesn't help me. It's this corner here, I don't know. If I decide, okay, the 2 goes up. Alright, what does this do for me? Nothing. If I decide the 2 goes down, at the very least I figured this much out. I can still branch here, right? Yeah, I can still branch there just fine. Or I can block it here. Well, let me think of it this way. We have to have a dead end in here. This definitely one of the dead ends of this path. And it's got to be severe enough that we really can't just chalk it up to branching paths. Not really. It's going to be the dead end. But because I don't know where the other one is, it's not the most helpful. So this is the dead end. If I could figure out, like, the other one is here. But again, because of the way the branching paths work, I'm not 100% sure, because this is a rule. Again, another problem with this puzzle is this rule is uncommon enough that we haven't done enough puzzles to be able to figure out what to do with this rule. Like with a branching path at all rule, like if it was this pattern we couldn't make, we have a lot of inferences because we've done hundreds of puzzles with this. We've done maybe 3 puzzles with this. So I'm not able to look at this and go, here's some logical inferences I can make. I'm looking at this going, I don't know, looking at this pattern, what I can do with this rule. Whereas Connect All Dark Cells, we've done a lot of puzzles with that rule. We can make inferences because of that rule. We can't make any inferences with this. We'd have to have done hundreds of puzzles of these, but there aren't that many. So that's another failure of puzzle design here, is they're throwing a rule at us we're unfamiliar with. So I guess if we were to look at it from the point of we got to watch out for dead ends, but again, we don't have to because of this rule. It's not, this rule means if you can't make this, you can't make any branching paths, means you have 2 dead ends max. We can have more than 2 dead ends here. So, but if I were to think of it as this rule, then one of the dead ends is up here, because there's got to be black cells in here somewhere, because these both can't be light, right? Yeah. There's got to be a dead end in here, and there's got to be a dead end in here, which means we can't have a black cell here, right? Because if we did, we would have 3 big dead ends. We also wouldn't be able to have one here. I think so. Let's say that's the rule. This feels very unsatisfying. Let's say that's the rule. That means that this has to be a dark cell, because either it's there or there. And also we got to finish the 7. So at least that gets us that far, but it's still really not a lot. It means that we can't have a big dead end in here. So this would be a problem. We'd have to have this be a dark cell. And they would have to come around through here if that was the way the rule worked. But again, I'm not 100% sure. We could end up in a really big pickle because I've made an assumption about this pattern that doesn't hold true. Because we just haven't had enough time with this pattern to understand how the rule works. That would mean we do have to go out this way. We can't loop it here because no matter what we do, we're going to cause a problem. So we would have to block it here. But we could still go here or there. We don't know. We'd have to do this. So this assumption I've made at least gets us this far, but it's based on treating this pattern like this pattern. And it could cause a problem that it's just, I don't know, it's just very irritating to not know. I'd prefer to know because that way I feel like a genius for solving it rather than a little worm who just guessed his way into the answer. So then the 10 certainly can't do this. We can't block that off. So can't block that off either. So that means this can't be the dead end because it's in here and in there. So we have to take this out like so. Which means we've got to do this. I think that could be dark cell. We gotta do this. I don't know. Can I don't know what I can do with that. So the 10 now can't be like this because too many dead ends. So it has to go out this far, right? So if I were to say can't put a dark cell there, can't put a dark cell there. So it has to go at least that far. And if I put a dark cell here, we would end up blocking. There's too many dead ends. So this also has to be a light cell. If I put a dark cell here, it's fine because we can just go. We would have to go here if that's the dark cell. But I don't know if that's the dark cell because we could also do that. At least this gets us somewhere, but I don't know if it's right. Any of these. If I make this motion here, I can't do that or that, but I could do this. But it's still dead endy, so I can't put one here. That's got to be light. Means that has to be a dark cell. This. Oh right, can't do that. Can't do that. We could bring this, but only so far. Which means that this is in fact what we do. We can bring this either direction. So this is getting me somewhere by making this assumption, but again, assumption that is based on a misconstruction of this rule. So it's I don't know, it's just making me feel like I'm not solving it. It makes me feel like I'm just guessing. So I think this is done, because if I did this... not quite. I can't block here because that's there, so that's going to be light. So I'm going to say that's the furthest away we can go. That's going to block, that's going to block. So we do have to completely fill this in. So it's a matter of which side here is going to be the one. I don't even know which one's going to be here. We can still do this, we can still do that. It just doesn't matter here. Either this or that is going to be the guy. I'm not sure. If I were to go out all the way here, that's fine. Well, what this would end up doing, it would end up creating another one of these. Which is fine, which is totally fine, so I don't know. Any spot? No, those spots are all fine to put a dark cell. This would be trouble to put a dark cell in, because I have dead ends here and there. If I can't bring that there. So I'd have to make somehow Yeah, I think this has to be a light cell here. If this was a dark cell, how would I make this so that it wouldn't be like this? I mean, not really. I think no matter what, this has to be a light cell. Which means that one of these two is dark cell for sure. I mean, we already knew that. But both of them could be. But if it isn't both of them, then these are both dark cells. But it means this? Oh, this could be a light cell. It would cause a problem here, so I think that's a dark cell. This would cause a problem, so I think that's a dark cell. Now, if this is a light cell, we're pretty much solved, actually. But it could be here. But having a dark cell here does force us to make this move. We can't go through here, so that's that. 4, 5, 6, 7. We can bring this down a couple more, but that's all. Again, we can still go through. Can we? If we did it this way, well, we could do that kind of. It's fine. This can't. I think this is going to have to be there because we don't want this to be the dead end. But again, we can just do this. So I'm not totally sure. Or this. Like, this is fine. I've just bumped my own microphone. I keep doing that quite a lot because I gesticulate and I don't really take care of where the microphone is. This certainly is not going to connect here, but I don't know. One of these two. Well, it's either this is a dark cell making... this is fine too. If this is a light cell, it does force us to go down this way. Is there any way, if this is a dark cell, that's also fine. So this is a possibility, this is a possibility, and this is a possibility. There's too many possibilities. This still could be a light cell rather than a dark cell. I can't block this all the way up because we have another dead end that way. So we do have to go out at least one space here. If I were to connect the 4 into here, we would have another issue with dead-endy stuff. Yeah, I think we can't do that. So I think we can't connect that all the way. If we connected here, we'd force this move and that move, which is fine. But then we'd overload the 9. Yeah. So I think this has got to be the dark cell. Which means this would have to come through like so. We can't really do the trick here. Because, yeah, because if we... This is the max the 9 can go, right? The max we can move is this far, which would put a dead end-ish? Yeah, so I don't think we can go that far. So this has got to be dark cell, and I think that's also going to be a dark cell. Now that means this one can't be, because how do I make anything out of that? I think that's got to be a light cell. One of these two is going to be dark cells. So if it was here, we'd have some trouble getting out of there. I think if it's here, we can at least do this trick. How do I get out of here, though? I could do it like this, but then I can't bring this out anywhere. No, it's fine. I can bring it through here. I can bring this like so. This is a possible... Again, it's a guess. I don't feel good about this. That can't happen. This has to happen, so that can't. That can't happen. This is still possible, so is that. But now I would have to do this. It's the only way I'd connect these. Which is going to force this move here. Which I wouldn't want to fill that in. Wouldn't want to fill that in. So now the 9 is almost done. This would be a problem, so it does in fact fill in this way. It would be like this. Okay, okay. So this is correct, but again, I don't feel like I've solved it. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I made a lot of concessions here. This can't be dark. There's no way that's happening. That can't be dark. That can't be. That can't be. That can't be. That's it. Man, that feels bad. Alright, I'm gonna look for something different down here. So in Lucent Waters, what are we close to solving? I don't have a lot of leitmotifs today. There are some hidden pentads I can do. Pattern memory and music grids I can do. I don't have a lot of time left on this if I want to keep this under an hour. But if I find a puzzle radar, I can at least go for those puzzle types. Oh, there's a glide ring over there. How many of those do we got today? We got 2. Let's grab this one while I see it. And a wandering echo. How many of those do? There's several of those. Not as concerned at the moment. Betting I gotta get back in the air here. We're back to start. Do this guy, and then do the hidden pentad that's right there. What are you doing, man? Okay. There. There. Gamers don't look up. Probably one back here somewhere. Side. Maybe it's at the very, very top of the structure. It's quite possible. Doesn't look like it, unless it's under this nook somewhere. No. The last one's pretty well hidden, I will say. Considering the playing field is very small. Also looks like, oh, let's shrink in this direction. Also, where's your friend? Oh, flow orbs over there. That's that one. So let's get a good far away look. Are we like hidden in the bushes here? Like, I feel like it's got to be up somewhere. Like, it isn't low down. But where would it be? Oh, is it on the... Oh! Oh, that's so good. That's... Ah! That's such a good hiding spot. Connect dark cells. You can't connect these for sure. That's got to come out. That's coming out, which means those are done like so. Don't need to worry about anything else aside from connecting dark cells, so we'll do that. I think that's just going to connect there. That's just going to connect there. And then that's just going to connect there. Flow orb is good. How many of those do we have again today? We got a few. Hold on, there's a couple of things here I can grab. Alright, back to the flow orb. The florb. This looks like an irritating one, especially if I'm going to have this. Whoa! Hold on, restart that. I'm supposed to touch that one. So I feel like if I start with the central... No, let's start here. This feels wrong. This feels very wrong. I gotta go way faster than that. Let's try again. Oop, restart. One. Ah! This is not going to work out at all. This one's irritating. Part of it is this archway is actually making it a little harder because now I'm not able to really maneuver around that. There we go. I'll take that. So. Oh, we're back over here. We're also... Oh, there's the other glide ring for the day. We're also looking... no, we're looking at the thing over there. So I've got to be on the outside, kind of looking up. In this area. There. Let's get that glide ring. And another hidden pentad. Let's grab it. Get these out of the way. I mean, I'm not getting hidden pentads out of the way because I dislike them or anything. I really like them. They're some of my favorites, but since there's so few of them, I want to grab them when I see them, or I'm going to be in a position where I'm stuck with a ton of hidden pentads I can't solve because there's only so many that load in every day. Hold on, that piece belongs there. And there. Last one. I think this is the last one for the day. I think there were 3, so... This is a really small area to work with. Oh, there's the other flow orb. Or one of the other flow orbs. Yeah, there's another one here. There's two left. I got them both. Okay, let's assume then we have stuff on top. Huh. They said, as a resounding chorus of, huh. Hold on. We're gonna look through here and see that guy. Eh, is there something on the roof here? There is, but there was the floor blocking it, which is why I didn't see it. So, where's the last one? Oh, that's gonna go to the green one I saw over here, right? Oh, there's a relic there. I thought that was the green matchbox. Where was the green matchbox I saw? Like when I was coming this way, I saw... Ah, it's right here. So the red one's just on the other side of the rock. So I just need to review if I can see them both from somewhere. Maybe this side of the rock. Yes. Flow orb time. So this is going to be interesting. How many are there? Ah. No. No, that's too low. This is very irritating. Because of that. You clip the ceiling and it just cancels your flight entirely. And then you're going to have to restart that. And then this one we just got to jump to. So getting around it. Really? You have to get that in 6 seconds? How on earth do you get that in that time? Ah. Is there like... There we go. Yeah, again, the best flow orbs are the ones that don't require you to master the janky collision and tight knit movement. It's better when they're spread out really far and they require you to more plan a route than it is to just deal with really close corners like that. Don't make checkerboards, don't make squares. So there's a possibility there. No, none of this, none of that, none of this, none of that. Uh-huh. Okay. Door. Uh-huh. Anyway, so that takes care of the hidden pentats for the day, as well as glide rings and flow orbs for the day. That feels nice. Was there another type? I could grab a phasic dial. There's only 2 left in this entire area. And one of them is present today, which means I need to find a... Oh, there's also a couple match 3s I can do, so... If I can find the phasic dial on my own, that's great. I'm going to give myself like 5 minutes to do so. So I definitely... This is a trap. I don't want to do that. I want to do this instead. No, we gotta break 4 at once. So this probably is the way to do it. So if I can find myself puzzle radar, hold on. Oh, also music box, let's do it. There. I guess that could be melodic. This feels somewhat random, but it's okay. Not a terrible puzzle. So that's a different symbol. These two are the same. I mean, puzzle radar would really be helpful right about now. There's supposed to be a couple I can find, but I haven't seen them. There's another match 3. Actually, how many match 3s did we have? There was 2 I could do today. Ooh, cube. One of the few times I saw it before I heard it. At least I can grab a pattern grid. Are we looking at some kind of symmetry thing here? Are we just flipping this? Looks like we're just flipping that. Is it just this? Is it just flipped and then here it's just flipped there? Okay. Ooh, is that it? That's it there. So we're looking for phasic dials. So what symbol are we looking at? This one. That's the biggest one I would like to find. Anyone see it? Point to the screen when you see it. There it is. Okay. Thanks. Thanks for helping me out. I mean, there are other puzzle types I could do, but this is the one I want to hit today. So this is last. Let's get the green and the cyan in play. Let's get the... And the blues in place. Let's get the red. And then let's just get yellow. Awesome. Anything else? I can grab this cube for sure. Might be a Serene Deluge cube, but that's fine. And a Morphic Fractal, I guess? Considering they're very important puzzles that everyone loves. Great. I need some loop-de-loops here, but need it to be a little bit more open or something. This is the wrong loop. That needs to be looped this way. Okay. So, how many of those are there? Well, there were only 3 today. I found one of them. That's a start. Alright, there's another one. I've already done that one. You know what? Let me finish the day off with some logic grids. Those are more fun. Connect dark cells and light cells. We can't have checkerboards. That's never going to happen. Awesome. Don't make squares of any kinds, and we connect all dark and light cells. A little more challenging. These all have to be light cells in between here. These all have to be dark cells. No squares does mean we have to do this. Now let's see. Squares, no squares. No squares. Let's see, no checkerboards, no squares. Oops. And we recall the checkerboard rule is just something you can infer from this rule set here, rather than it's written there somewhere. Let's see. No squares. Checkerboard could be here. Yeah, we want to avoid checkerboards. So because of this, gotta do that, gotta do that, gotta do that. So this is going to connect through here somehow. Actually, that's not going to connect there. We gotta connect this around. Nice, that was a good one. Good one to end on. Cool, we got some stuff done. I was really disappointed in that 5-star puzzle. But that's okay. We will come back and do more 5-star puzzles another day. Thanks everyone for sticking around. And I'm going to go do something else now. Bye!